it comes under Government of India. That's ICRISAT. Since I am working in college, what do you call, University of Agriculture and Horticulture Sciences in Shumoga, many people talk about ICRISAT. How agriculture background people talk about ICRISAT, we fisheries people should talk more about world fish. That's what I'm trying to say here. With this brief information, I'd love to introduce Dr. Mohan sir. Recently retired as principal scientist at Worldfish. Worldfish is one CGI, it comes under one CGIR, the world's largest agricultural innovation network. Worldfish is a public international research organization that creates, advances, and translates scientific research and aquatic food systems into scalable solutions with transformational impact on human well-being and the environment. He joined Worldfish in 2014 and retired this year, March 2024. While at Worldfish, he provided global leadership to the Aquatic Animal Health Research Cluster and One Health initiative of One CGIAR. His work focused on promoting sustainable aquaculture through responsible aquatic animal health management and biosecurity governance in Worldfish program countries in Asia and Africa. He holds PhD in aquatic animal pathology from the University of Stirling, UK. University of Stirling, it comes in Northern Hemisphere. In fact, I tried to get admission in University of Stirling in the Northern Hemisphere, but I ended up getting in Southern Hemisphere in Australia. His expertise includes aquatic food systems, nutrition sensitive fisheries, and aquaculture. One Health encompassing health of animals, environment, and people, epidemiology and surveillance, and antimicrobial resistance and biosecurity governance. He comes from a strong academic background of 21 years of experience in College of Fisheries, then it was University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. Since 2003, he worked for Intergovernmental Network of Aquaculture Centers in the Asia Pacific NACA, based in Bangkok, Thailand for 11 years before he went to Worldfish. And his work took him to over 50 countries in 6 continents of the world and provided opportunities to interact and work with thousands of knowledgeable people from diverse cultural and technical backgrounds. He also served as a chairperson of Fish Health Section of Asian Fisheries Society for the period of 2011 and 2011 to 14. He has authored and co-authored over 166 research papers. With this brief introduction, I welcome Dr. Mohan sir, and please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A big thanks to KSTA, Dr. Ramesh and his colleagues for asking me to come and share a few of my thoughts based on the work I was involved in right from Mangalore days till now. And I'm very happy that joined Fisheries in 1975 as a student, first batch student to GKVK, not really knowing what fish is, and nearly 49 years of fisheries, almost submerged in aquatic environment for nearly 49 years as a student and as a teacher and then as an international development worker, then as a researcher. So I'm very happy for having joined Fisheries, because that time I got admission in engineering and many people were making fun. Oh, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀಯ ಮಾರಾಯ, ಮೀನು ತಿಂದು ಬಿಡ್ತೀಯ, ನೀವು ಮೀನು ತಿಂತೀರ, ಯಾಕೆ ಮೀನು ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು. So that way, now when looking back, no regrets. I feel very happy, and I feel Fisheries holds immense potential for everyone, not just for farmers, for aspiring youngsters, for aspiring researchers, for all, and for everyone. So don't neglect Fisheries and fisheries science. So with that brief introduction, let me today try to just bring your attention back to what transformations are needed, because blue revolution and sustainability are heavily loaded words, frequently used, without really appreciating the concepts behind blue revolution and the concepts behind sustainability. So I just want to throw some ideas and ignite some fresh youngster minds to think what really we should do, either as students or as researchers or as academicians, with respect to aquatics. So looking at fish alone doesn't help. If you want rural evolution, don't look at fish alone. You really look, we need to look at our food systems. So in simple, we need to look at what is our plate during lunch is made up of. It's made up of rice, pickle, kosamri, palya, rasam, fish, maybe chicken, maybe egg. So we need to really look at food systems. Looking at fish alone, all of us get too carried away, too biased with our thinking, okay, fish, fish, fish. No, fish on its own is not much use. It is of significant value when we only think in terms of the food systems, the way we produce our food, what is on our lunch plate or on our banana leaf, the way we process it, the way we move it around, the way we cook it, the way we consume it, what we waste, what we do not waste, what we conserve. So the food systems thinking is a must if we have to realize the concept of blue revolution, the concept of sustainability. Because as it is now, as it is today, our food systems are very, very dangerous, are very bad, because they are threatening the environment sustainability, cutting vast tracts of forests and ranching, converting mangroves to ponds, doing also misusing antibiotics, everything. So food, not just in fish, be it rice, be it wheat, be it livestock, be it any production system. So the present food systems are largely threatening the environment sustainability. They're threatening animal health, and you heard about Dr. Shankar talking about animal welfare. The way we farm is threatening animal health and animal welfare. Human health, COVID was the best example for all of us, how the food system has led to emergence of very nasty diseases like COVID, and the planetary health, overall health of the planet itself. So food systems globally, when you think of all food, what we eat across the world, it's not very encouraging. That's the first thing. If you look at this famous work by the Eat Lancet Commission, which looked into how the global food systems work, they made some very strong comments. This is a very, very, very high-powered panel which looked into this, and they told food systems have the potential to nurture human health and support environment sustainability. However, they are currently threatening both. It's very recent work. Lancet Eat Commission work is very recent. Providing a growing global population with healthy diets from a sustainable food system is a very difficult challenge. It's not easy. People may claim that they're having a sustainable system, they're having a very good system, but it's not true. We need really a lot of science and evidence to demonstrate that what systems we have is really sustainable. I would like to bring your attention to this particular book. I would request all the youngsters here to, this book can be freely downloaded. It's one by the Professor Pingali. Some of you would have heard him. He is the director of Tata Cornell Institution. He was a graduate from Cornell, and he founded the Tata Cornell Institution, and they support large number of students. Even students here can apply for their fellowships, and they allow you to work in different parts of the world with rural communities, with food systems type of thinking. And this guy wrote a very nice book, just within quotes if you see, there is a vast disparity due to the unbalanced diet patterns leading to both undernutrition and obesity in India. His book title is very good, Transforming Food Systems for a Rising India. India is really rising, and everyone's pocket is full of money, and everyone is buying food, everyone is ordering food. But what food, what kind of food, what quality, what nutrition status, very few know. And this is already costing us a lot of money in terms of undernutrition, obesity, acidity, reflux, you name it, you have it. That's because of the power of money. There's so much of money in the pockets of people now. The spending power is high, so everybody is lavishly spending on food without realizing the value of good food. So this book is a very good book and a very interesting read. So I would request all youngsters to read this book. So he says the book explores challenges and opportunities to achieve a nutrition secure future through production systems, improved health and hygiene, and a greater capability to access a balanced diet. So what we want, a food system, including fish, is to support a balanced banana leaf filled with a balanced food, a a lunch plate filled with a balanced food, vegetables, chapati, fish, chicken, egg. So that is should be the aim if we have to achieve blue revolution. And blue revolution, as part of our understanding of aquatic foods, must be an integral part of this food system. On its own, it has no value. It has to be part of the food system. So what are aquatic foods? The World Fish has given several, this one definition which World Fish colleagues and present staff use. Whatever is formed in and whatever is harvested from water is aquatic foods. Very simple, okay? So these are aquatic foods, including your seaweeds. So whatever is formed in and whatever is harvested from aquatic medium is aquatic food. So you can, including snails and whatever you want, amphibians, whatever you want, you can bring it. So not just cutla, rojo, mrigal, and shrimp and salmonids. And what is aquatic food system? So this is again very important. Food system definition, it's a very complex web made up of three major components: elements, activities, and the outcomes. What are the elements? Everything. The pond, the farmer, the fish, the guy who is feeding the fish, the guy who is breeding the fish, inputs, your feeds, your fertilizer, processes, harvesting, capture, clean, infrastructure, your jetty, your landing center, whatever, institutions, College of Fisheries, ICIR. So these are the various elements involved in our aquatic food system. And the list can go on. What are the activities? It relates to the production from wild as well as farm, processing, distribution, preparation, consumption, disposal, everything is included in the activities. So elements and activities. What are the outcomes? This is very important. Outcomes is not just dollars and the pocket. Outcomes are many. Key outcomes are nutrition outcomes, health outcomes, food security outcomes, socio-economic outcomes, and finally your environment outcomes, and finally your dollar outcomes. So prioritizing only dollar outcome will not bring in blue revolution, will not bring in sustainability. The outcomes must be very properly balanced. So blue revolution and sustainability, what sometimes really pains me is many people equate tons and dollars with blue revolution. For me, it's not blue revolution. Tons and dollars, 20 tons per hectare, $200,000 is not blue revolution. That's just a measure of the outcome of that particular activity. Blue revolution and sustainability is much, much beyond that. So what I intend to talk, all technologies today, we had several presentations which spoke of large numbers of technologies. Very good. So there is no dearth of technologies. There are so many technologies available. The question is to what extent the technologies can be disseminated, to what extent through education we can take the technologies to the places where it's needed, to what extent the technologies can be scaled. You might have a very good product, but it has to be scaled. I cannot just sell my product to 100 people in one small part of Bangalore. It has to be scaled. It should go across the village, across the community, across the district, across the state, in other states. So scalability is very, very important. Ultimately, what is important is how can you transform our so-called aquatic food system, that is what we get from the water and what we farm in the water, to do better for us. First thing is us, so that we have a lot of access to safe and healthy aquatic foods as part of our main food. Animals, no or less disease. It's very difficult to get no disease, but at least less disease and animal welfare. And finally to the environment, so that at least to the extent possible, the environment is clean, so that everything is within the limited defined planetary boundaries. While doing this, we should also ensure that we're able to get cost-effective production, we are able to get some productivity, we are able to make some money out of that. So, but increase production and dollar at any cost is not, helping with respect to the practices and innovations. Second, the most important thing which I did not see anybody touch upon, we did hear words about extension and education, but one very important thing in all this transformation is human attributes. Most important. Nowadays, lot of research opportunities, development opportunities on how do we really recognize the importance of knowledge, behavior, attitude and practice of value chain actors. Right from your farmer to the policymaker sitting in New Delhi. Each one of them is important for us. And this area, what we call SBCC, Social Behavior Change Communication, is becoming very, very important. So if anybody wants to switch their discipline right away, think of this area, social behavior change. How can we bring about? And COVID has taught us very useful lessons. During COVID, all of you have seen in the newspapers and in the televisions how easy and how difficult it was to make people wear simple masks. Wearing mask is not a high technology, but there was so much of difficulties to convince people to wear mask. What it meant is, how did we use the SBCC? So the governments all over the world, including India, did very well with the SBCC. They made people to realize and change their behavior, change their practice, change their, based on science, not based on blind belief or faith, but based on science. So changing attitude and practice of value chain actors, right from our farmer to the policy maker, is most essential if you have to bring out blue revolution and if you have to promote the concept of sustainability. Without these things happening, no way you can change and bring about blue revolution. I think this is where we should be targeting. When we talk of KVKs, when we talk of extension education, when we talk of education programs in education institutions, this area should be considered very, very, very strongly. Human behavior and practice. Technology is there. We are only using the technology. So let us just look into few outcomes and what is already there. Everything is there. The knowledge is there. The knowledge has to be taken up. We need to change our behavior to take up the knowledge and adopt the knowledge. If you look into production and productivity outcomes, before going to that, I just draw attention to the way Bangladesh, how every inch of land is put to a productive use through a very integrated approach. You see here pond with fish, the dike is with vegetables, and they put all sort of steel mesh over the pond it comes, and the vegetables can be harvested from the pond surface while going through a boat or a plastic floating device. But the way effectively the ecology can be, how the ecology can be, agroecological conditions can be used for a safe production system, just one example. So if you look at the production and productivity, today morning I think Shankar brought up better management practices. There are so many better management practices, but the question is, have we looked into and audited to what extent we are able to implement these BMPs in each of the individual farms, be it carp farming, be it shrimp farming, be it catfish farming. All BMPs are there. Stock good quality seed, stock good quality feed, don't waste feed, don't collect all the dead fish, dispose the dead fish safely. Everything is there. But how many farmers or how many researchers are promoting this concept so that no dead fish is allowed to rot in the pond? No dead fish is thrown just to the next neighboring cage or to the neighboring water body. So that is where the behavior and attitude makes lot of difference. You take the famous examples of Indonesia, the koi herpes virus disaster in the famous lake called Cirata, where thousands and thousands and thousands of cages were lost over a matter of 15 days, is because of the practice. One farmer, fish dying in the cage, take out the dead fish, put outside the cage, next farm. But if the behavior and attitude were to be good, immediately tell the officer, collect the fish safely, bring it back to the shore, burn it, destroy it, notify the other cages, take some precautions. Many cages could have been saved, but Indonesia lost thousands of cages in a matter of 15 days because of koi herpes virus. Not because of the virus. Virus was anyway strong, as Shankar says, it's very no treatment, but it was lost because of the people's behavior and practice and attitude. Anyway, I lost my fish, let me throw the fish to the next side of the cage. So this is where I think a lot of changes have to take place. Farm level biosecurity. People talk of biosecurity, but very few. How many are really having a simple record keeping system? It's not there. Very few advanced farmers may be having a record keeping system. That's again boils down to behavior, practice and attitude. Big data. Now we talk of digital tools and our capacity to analyze massive data sets. But do we have I think I was reading the abstract of Vijayanand, farming practice and farming system data. How many state governments have data on all the hatcheries, for example? Can we compare all the 30 hatcheries of government of Karnataka with respect to the production practice, production outcomes, fry outcomes? Is there sufficient data for a good researcher like you to come and take up the data set and compare across these 28 hatcheries and tell these hatcheries are good, these hatcheries are not good, these hatcheries are no, because there is no data being kept. Same is true with the farmers. Same is true with our extension agencies. So the question is, we are attaching very little attention to the potential of capturing what's already there. We don't have to invest anything other than employing few enumerators to go and collect data. So data on your tilapia system, biofloc system, maybe on your carp system or integrated system. Do we have enough data so that you can use your digital tools and your advanced techniques to analyze the data and interpret so that you can have better guidance and advisories for the next crop, for example, or for better refining the better practices, or for better risk profiling, or for better planning, or for better social behavior communication chain type of approaches. So data is one very important thing which we are missing. So if at all, if I have to give any take-home message to the youngsters, it is data. And data not through experiments in the lab by putting this, putting that there. Data from the populations, from the nature, from the pond. The pond and the farmer and the others are doing the experiments for you. You don't have to do anything. But collect the data so that you know what is stocked, how many days, what are the size, what are the hatchery. So collecting useful information through a systematic process, which is epidemiology, collecting data at the population level, can help in many ways, including surveillance, for example. Genetics, I think Dr. Sahu told about the improved varieties, very good. It's a very promising area. We are seeing, slowly starting to see the benefits of genetically improved strains. Gift tilapia, Dr. Eknath is here, Jayanti Rohu, Dr. Sahu. So a lot of, but this is very new in fish. Only we have 1 or 2 or 3 important genetic improvement, salmonids, for example, but there is still a lot of potential for not only selecting for growth. Earlier all the efforts were selecting for growth, but now people are saying select for disease, select for climate resilience, select for better low oxygen adaptability, select for better fecundity, whatever, but what including multiple traits in the selection programs. It's not sufficient to produce Jayanti or gift or carp or prawn. It is important that these improved varieties are available, should be accessible to a large number of farmers. If that is not available, and is of no use, the technology is of no use. Similarly, we need to really look at how can this technology be scaled. How can this technology be available to everyone in the nook and corner of the country if they really wanted to stock Jayanti roe or gift tilapia or Amrit Katla. Novel feeds, I think again there was a mention of insects. Lot of discussions taking place now on insects replacing fish meal, which are all very good directions of work. And if you have to transform and if you realize blue revolution and bring in sustainability. Nutritious pond, this is a new concept, a lot of good work being done in the Netherlands, Wageningen University and other universities. So they say not feeding the fish, feed the pond and feed the fish. So they're trying to feed both the pond and the fish so that they bring in all the concepts of nutrition, productivity, microbiomes, balancing bad, good bacteria, whatnot. But ultimately the concept is, it is not only feeding fish. So there is a concept of sustainability, there is a concept of natural productivity, there is a concept of recycling, there is a concept of utilization, reducing waste, so many concepts. So anybody interested in nutritious ponds, please look into the work coming out of the Wageningen University. A lot of very good work is coming out of that with respect to what they call nutritious ponds. Improved diagnostics, again Dr. Shankar mentioned about improved diagnostics, very important, but at the level of the farm and the field, and real-time diagnostic advisory. Again, Dr. Sahu mentioned about apps. So these are all very good tools available, but are they being used? How should we support the farmers to use it? That is where I want to highlight again the importance of behavior, practice, attitude of extension worker, of KVK worker. If the KVK worker doesn't motivate the farmer, what is the use of his app? No use. So that's again the attitude of the KVK worker, attitude and practice of the extension person. Otherwise, what is the use of the extension person getting the training? You should be able to motivate 1 or 2 people at least out of 100. Surveillance, performance assessment. These are all tech tools which are available in front of researchers and workers to assess. So now Dr. Sahu might say Jayanti is doing very well. Then you need to do what we call performance assessment. If you brought and stocked Jayanti row in your 10 of your ponds, then you need to do your own performance assessment through record keeping and compare with the baseline. What is the baseline? Your earlier Rohu and your earlier Katla is your baseline. You need to compare and then report back to him. Okay, sir, it worked well, didn't work well, these are the problems. So this is again behavior and practice, and it is not rocket science research. It's just a notebook and pen, nothing else. And then a good one of your family members or somebody with some idea of how to handle data and analyze data. So it's all boils down to data. So how do we use observations and data to support our aspiration of transformation, aspiration of sustainability, aspiration of blue revolution? Just by increasing the production of carp from 8 tons to 20 tons, we are not at all bringing blue revolution, we are not at all bringing sustainability. We are doing the other opposite, we are damaging. Novel vaccines, these are all tools available to us. There are a lot of tools available to us as human beings. Environment outcomes. Again, many of you are interested in environment, so there is many tools if you want to evaluate the environmental outcomes of your farming system, of your aquatic food production system. There are a lot. You can do what we call crop farming analysis. You can understand how your crop is doing compared to others in your village, in your locality, only through good data collection, both from you and from the others. You can do what we call environmental footprint analysis, life cycle analysis. What all did you use? What did you produce? Where are you transporting? What is the energy? How much petrol, diesel is getting consumed? Is it worth it producing fish in Mangalore and taking the fish all the way to Kashmir? Is it worth it? Is it enough, burning of fossil fuel, or should we think of something else? So this comes out of what we call LCA, life cycle analysis. So people are more and more concerned about LCA now. How? So locally produced food, locally recycled food, locally enabled production systems. So there are a lot of things that are changing. So if we have to again make our blue revolution a reality, we should consider this. We cannot produce millions of tons in Andhra Pradesh and dump that millions of tons in Assam. That may not be sustainable if somebody does an LCA analysis. They might say, no. For 50% of that cost, we could as well produce in Assam itself, and that much of the footprint can be reduced if this were to be done. Similarly, producing only rice in millions of hectares, or producing only wheat. So how should we? That's where I want to again bring in the concept of food system, banana leaf, and the different types of food. Should we convert all the paddy fields available in Mandya to fish farms? No. Should we convert all the paddy fields available in Andhra Pradesh to fish ponds just because we want blue revolution? No. There will be agroecological imbalance. There will not be possible to sustain it. So it has to be perfectly balanced. So what's our need? What's our target? So this is where it is very important to understand what is our fish future prediction, what we want. Now, I think Dr. Sahu told about from 18 million tons to around 30, that's what. So if that were to happen, what changes have to take place, at what levels? Climate resilience, this is again a very important area. So how our culture systems can be made more resilient. For example, simple example, Bangladesh, everything is polyculture. And people do believe that polyculture is more resilient than monoculture. Not just in terms of dollars, but in overall assessment, polyculture is more resilient. Carbs, tilapia, and some shrimp also, for example, together, macrobrachium. It's more resilient compared to only monoculture of Jayanti roe or monoculture of Pangasius catfish, if you take the unit and the value and the volume, and if you standardize it across these units, then you will understand, okay, so it's not just comparing 200 tons of catfish from 1 hectare. No, that way you cannot compare. And again, understanding disease in the wild populations. 99% of the pathogens are already there. They are waiting to be discovered. Same is true in humans, same is true in animals. They're already there. They're already there. They evolved along with us. So it's only waiting to be discovered. So there is nothing surprise. Tomorrow, suddenly there is a new disease in macrobrachium new disease in fish because they're waiting to be discovered, because our diagnostic methodologies and tools are improving, and our ability to sample is improving, our ability to do surveillance is improving, which is good. So we have a better understanding of what to expect. If you were to know all the pathogens present in the wild bushmeat, then maybe the COVID or some other disease would not have happened, for example, because we do not know what is there in the wild bushmeat in Africa, for example, which comes to the markets. We may know what is only in the chicken, which is cultured, farmed, but we may not know what is there in other, So this is all very important. Nutrition outcomes. I think Dr. Vasudev did talk of nutrition outcomes. So many reports and literature is there on the nutrition outcomes, and fish is definitely one of the major components for if you are aiming nutrition outcomes. But nutrition outcomes cannot be, it's not just achieving nutrition outcome at one household level. If nutrition outcomes have to be achieved, we need nutrition outcomes to be achieved at the national level through national programs. Just like now egg being part of the midday school program or the take-home ration program or the ICDS program, fish, we should all fight and advocate for inclusion of fish also in the national programs for those people who eat fish. Unless such a massive drive is done, you cannot have nutrition outcomes that easily. If you want nutrition outcomes, the kids must get the mother who is expecting to deliver in the next 6 to 8 months should get the essential things from the fish right from the day she conceives, and right from the until the child is born and till the child is up to the primary or secondary. So fish definitely, I think Dr. Vasudev also told that the superfood. Old Fish has done a lot of work on fish as a global superfood. You can see the literature, a lot of literature can be downloaded from there. So the question is, are there technologies for better utilization of fish from marine capture fisheries? Again, I think they touched upon sardines, anchovies, and all these pelagic fisheries, which are very, very rich, nutrient dense. So how best they are used, and what can be done to better utilize them. And there are very good research predictions and models which have shown to what extent the marine pelagic fisheries could have supported the nutrition requirements of the poorer people and the marginalized people and the school children and expecting mothers, had it not been diverted to fish meal. So feeding fish with fish to produce fish is not really a sustainable mechanism, because you're using 10 tons of anchovy fish meal to produce 1 ton of your fish. You would have created economy, you could have created industry to develop, but from a sustainability perspective, it may not be the only way to go. Reducing fish waste and loss, not just fish, any food. 30% of the food we produce is globally wasted. So if you were to reduce that even by 10%, that much of stress on the land and the resources and other things is reduced, because you are saving 10%. What is saved is gained. 30% of the food globally, every day, including our own households, 30% is wasted. So if that can be reduced, that is actually gained. That is gained. Integrating fish in simple forms. We think of all, I'm very happy Prakash is here. He is also very strongly promoting millets, right? Yeah. So simple forms. What we want, we don't want complex process. Simple forms of fish. Just to mix with our soup or rasam and drink, is it possible? Such innovations must take place. Not the same, fish chakli, fish vada, and all that is not. We need something similar to the baby food. We need something similar to Complan. We need something similar to Horlicks, which can be just mixed and given to people who love fish, like fish. I'm not saying we should give to everybody, but at least integrating fish in a very simpler form, which is easy, practical, affordable, possible. Okay, that's very important. This is a scalable solution, so that if you demonstrate that, then who knows, already government of Assam, based on the programs run there, is integrating fish powder of the small fish caught from all the rivers and reservoirs, solar dried, powdered, mixed, and fed to the school children. They've initiated it as a major state government program as part of their ICDS scheme. So this is a good development. So we need to push state governments here, state governments there, to integrate fish, just like eggs being pushed, milk being pushed. We cannot replace egg, but we have to integrate fish. We cannot push fish at the cost of eggs. that will antagonize the egg lobby, antagonize the milk lobby. That should not be our goal. Then last and the most important is how can we really reduce the health risks from aquatic foods? Could be zoonotic pathogens coming from, could be foodborne pathogens, could be contaminants, could be, Madam Indrani also told several things about antibiotic residues and AMR, but ultimately technologies are available. Fish handlers know how they are handling. So we need to change their behavior and practice, hygiene, wash hand and come. Simple example is us. How many of us, when we come back from the bathroom, wash our hands and come? That's a practice. How many have made it a strict principle? Okay, let me wash and come. So so each one of us can ask our own questions. How many have washed our hands and come back? How many have not washed our hands and come back and directly taken the biscuits from the table? So that is human behavior and practice. No science and technology there. It's practice. So behavior and practice is very, 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 very important if you have to reduce human health risks. Then finally, we talk a lot about this is done, that is done, this is done. But how do we know what we are doing is right? This is where we need what we call a theory of change and a monitoring, evaluation and learning. Unless we have baseline and end line, anything, reservoir stocking program, maybe for example. We say, oh, we have stocked. Baseline, end line. What was the production from this reservoir 10 years ago, 9 years ago? What has been stocked over the last 10 years? What should have been the expected survival? What is the end line? So unless there is a comparison between baseline and end line, unless you are able to see the difference, that's where we say outputs, outcome and impact. Unless you are able to do that through, again, a good system of data, keeping data, recording data, cleaning and analysis, we cannot simply say, okay, this macrobrachium is good, this cutla is good, or shrimp is good, And again, one more point, one more thing which I feel always sad is too much is focused on shrimp and salmonids. I think we should move away from all the discussions being focused on shrimp and salmonids. We should focus more on carps, catfish, tilapia, affordable, accessible, easy, and many large population of Asia and Africa depend on carps, catfish and tilapia, especially catfish and tilapia in Africa and carps, catfish and tilapia in Asia. So major attention must be given to these three main commodities because they really contribute to over 20 to 30% of the aquaculture production in many countries. Data. This is where I try to always emphasize quality data from the field at the population level, not from one pond, not from 2 ponds. This is where KVKs have a role, extension agencies have a role, researchers have a role, and many college of fisheries, they say there is no money for research. No. If use the field as your laboratory, use systematic data gathering tools, use good statisticians' help to analyze the data. You don't need even, only money you need is to go in the bus or go in the car, stay in the village, collect the data, that's all. There is, all the experiments are being done for you by the farmer, by the pond, by the biology of the pond, by the biology of the aquatic system. It's already there. The question is, we need to collect the information, analyze it, and say how this district compares to that, how this village compares to the other village, how this Andhra compares to Karnataka. So there is a lot of value in data. So now many people are focusing only on data. Can we collect quality data? Can we use quality data for proper interpretation to drive sustainability, to drive blue revolution, to drive the concept of resilience? So this is very important for public policy debates, government supported activity schemes. There are hundreds of government schemes. Sometimes you feel when you look at the schemes, the intention is very good, but the scheme gets completely lost in the process. Nobody knows who is the beneficiary. The scheme is implemented. No, that doesn't help. When the scheme, before even starting the scheme for implementation, we should have the baseline data. Tomorrow you are trying to support digging of ponds in the backyard. We should know baseline before the first grant is given. How many backyard ponds are there? How many new are added? What are the production of the backyard ponds before, during, after? Unless that is, I'm sure many of you would be saying, oh, idella agallappa. So the question is, should we make an attempt? Should we make an attempt? That is where, change. That's why theory of change. If you want to change, all schemes should have a theory of change. and the theory of change must be supported by baseline, endline, monitoring, evaluation, and learning. So if only then the schemes will be successful, or somebody can strongly defend the scheme. Otherwise, none of the schemes can be scientifically and robustly defended. So if you want to defend your scheme, make sure you have a theory of change, you have monitoring, evaluation, and learning, you have baseline, midline, endline data sets to look into that, at least to show to your friend, to show to your colleagues, you know. Okay, certification I'll not touch. Many people do ask about certification. Certification, Dr. Karanasagar also mentioned about international and national and third party and private. But certification as a concept is very good. But the question is, we need to really see to what extent certification programs can help to deliver sustainability concepts, blue revolution concepts. If it's not certifying a big producer versus a small producer, it's certifying the product, process, human behavior, attitude, everything that must be integrated in the certification program. The many certification programs now for small farmers, there is what is called group certification and cluster certification as well. These are all good things, provided we are able to understand it and we are able to apply it. And whenever I talk to people, they say, sir, seed certification agಬೇಕು, seed certification we should do, seed standards illa. No. All standards are there. None of us need to start any standards. Standards are there. The question is, can we understand the standard and can we devise better management practices to accomplish that standard? Sell only, 2-inch seed means what implementation mechanisms must be there to ensure that the thing what is sold is 2 inches and long, how it's read. So no need to develop standards. The standards are there, hundreds and thousands of standards are already there. So let us not spend time developing standards, but let us spend time to change the practice, behavior, and attitude of the stakeholders concerned to accomplish those standards, or at least move in the direction of the standards. Okay, be it hygiene, be it whatever. Additional concepts again for young minds to just think. I think Dr. Sau also touched upon this. Diversification, very important topic to think through. So when you think of diversification, also think of minor carbs and nutrients dense small fish, which earlier were being referred to as weed fishes. Now is a big thing on small fishes. They are called nutrient dense small fishes like mola and many of them. They're being bred, they're being farmed along with your carbs and others. So integrated nutrition sensitive farming systems. Big data I already touched upon. Systems thinking approach. Think of the big system, not of the small system. Don't think of a single pond or a single aquarium. Think of a village which is farming carbs. Think of a district that's farming macrobrachium. Think of systems and what is involved right from A to Z, all steps. Systems thinking approach helps us to many things, to identify risks, to think, plan properly, Observation, epidemiology, I told, farmer is doing the experiment for you, ponds is doing the natural experiment for you. Can we collect information through some mechanism? Can we use the mobile technology, motivate the farmers, gather the information, pull it in a central place, use it? Value chain transformation. A lot of things have to change in the value chains. Fish futures. Many countries are investing a lot of money on building what they call scenario building. If cutla farming were to fail, what next? If shrimp vanama is to fail, what next? That type of a scenario building exercise. So if tomorrow, say for example, vanami fails, what will happen to thousands of hectares of farming land in Andhra Pradesh? So that should be there already. What is the first plan? What is the second plan? What is the tertiary plan? Similarly, if tomorrow major crop farming fails for some reason, let it not fail, but scenario building is a must. Scenario building is a must for all countries. If this were not there, then can the ponds be reconverted to avocado orchards, or can it be reconverted back to rice paddy, or So this is being done in many countries. And the trends analysis. What is the trend? For the last 1 decade, 2 decades, and what can be based on the past trends, what can we expect in the future? So this is again a very important field for youngsters. Building scenarios, using the past trends, predicting the future. You might go wrong, you might get it right, but that helps you to prepare well. That will help to drive the concept of sustainability, drive the concept of resilience, drive the concept of so-called blue revolution. Scaling mechanisms, what mechanisms do we have to scale? Is KVK a good mechanism? Is the state extension departments a good mechanism? Should we explore public-private partnerships? Should there be, what type of mechanism should be there if you have to really scale technologies? And we can learn a lot of things here from the private sector. Even Prakash will be able to share some of the experiences, like how do we scale a business? How do we really, take it forward? This I think already touched, but again I thought, food for thought for all of the youngsters here. Crabs, tilapia and catfish are major contributors for aquatic food systems in Asia and Africa. But all the talk is shrimp and salmon, which is very unfortunate. We should be talking more of crabs, tilapia and catfish, depending on which suits you. Okay? R&D investments is limited in crabs, tilapia and catfish, which are affordable, low, formed in Asia and Africa compared to high value species. So we need really a lot of investment, a lot of workforce, a lot of researchers, a lot of student theses, a lot of staff research on crabs, tilapia and catfish. Not only on shrimp and salmonids and high value species. We need, because these are the mainstay. These are the mainstay. Just like ragi and rice for an agrarian rural farmer, these are the mainstay for aquatic food producers in Asia and Africa. So what are the take-home messages? Global food systems must recognize the main role of aquatic foods. So many global food system discussions avoid aquatic foods. Even if you go to Delhi ministry and all talk is agriculture, wheat, livestock. Fish is the last one in the program. Fish must be central. Fish must be there because we are in the water, and water is a must for agriculture and livestock. So fish must be central to all food and policy discussions at the national level and the international level. And that way, it is very good that in 2 years ago, United Nations brought in aquatic foods in their nutrition discussion, and they even brought out a publication, Value of Aquatic Food Systems for Global Foods. So that's very good. Unless you push aquatic foods, it will be lost in agriculture, in livestock. They are also important, but we must recognize the role of fish. Fish not alone, but integration. And if you want to transform food systems, fish has to be a part of it, not just fish, aquatic foods. And only then you will be able to really nourish many nations. Many nations can be nourished. In many countries, fish is a major source of vital protein, vitamins, minerals, and all other essential nutrients to the growing population and the marginalized communities. And if you look at the nutrition outcomes globally and nationally, it cannot be achieved that easily without recognizing and integrating aquatic foods in the global nutritional outcome debate. And the last one, many of you may know, there is a lot of investments and money that's being poured into what they call the first 1,000 days program, first 1,000 days of life, right from conception to the second birthday of a child. So this is the first 1,000 days, and providing the fish nutrients to the pregnant and the lactating mother and the baby till its second birthday, that's the 2 years, is vital for cognition, brain development, for many things. So this is this is where fish should be pushed into the national programs, national primary health programs. There are many primary health programs, and the governments, not just India, all over the world, are spending billions of dollars on primary health. But primary health programs without recognizing the role of aquatic foods is again a big loss for us, a big loss for us. We always say there's no market, there's no market. Market has to be invented and created. Again, Prakash can tell how he is inventing and creating new markets for him. But this is where, yes, last slide. Okay. And the final word, for me, social behavior change is very important. The tools and methodologies, plenty are there. They must be used. They must be integrated in all extension programs, all awareness programs, all teaching programs to influence and change human attributes. Unless we change human attributes, none of us would have worn mask during COVID. None of us would have washed our hands, because we were convinced with science to wash, clean, wear mask, remain indoor, not go out. That is simple human. There's no technology there. Science was there, airborne transmission, blah, 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 but we were told human attribute has to change, and we changed, we adopted, okay? and whether then the question is whether vaccine worked or not, all that is secondary. But we did change our human attributes because of the education and the knowledge we were given by the agencies which were trying to combat COVID globally. Then to need to recognize the, yeah, that's why I put COVID has taught us many useful lessons in this area. Then need to recognize the key roles played by all value chain actors. Don't neglect any value chain actor. Most of the discussions when we go, they all talk farmer, farmer. Farmer is one part of the value chain. Right from the policymaker who forms the schemes to the poor farmer and the worker who is lifting the load, everyone is important. So everyone has to be part of the value chain transformation, you know. So it's not just the farmer and the guy who signs the legislation and gives the schemes and doles out the money, no, no. Otherwise, blue revolution will remain dash, dash, dash. So if you want, you can fill in appropriately as you want, but if you have to really appreciate, if you have to really realize blue revolution, for me the first thing is change of human behavior, practice and attitude. All others will follow. Technology is there, tools are there, knowledge is there. We are very, very intelligent. Everything, digital tools, Bangalore is leading. But if somebody tomorrow asks you, can you give me a data set from 2,000 ponds, raise your hands, how many of you can give, you know. So if you can give 2,000 pond data sets to a very good data scientist sitting in Whitefield or Electronic City, hats off to you, you know. So the question is, knowledge is there, it has to be extracted. That is where I think we need to put our time and energy. Thank you very much. Sorry for taking more time.
It was indeed a. You can question, sir.
Like in a poor and developing country, tons and dollar is very important for the producer.
No, that's agreed.
Dollar and tons is very important for the consumer. And who will build the cat, how to build the cat. COVID wearing mask, I know, life and death, everyone is scared of COVID.
Yeah, that's a concept change, yeah, that's a major change.
How to bring in?
No, it's possible. Many countries are doing it. You take
Rich countries?
No, not rich countries, poor countries itself. Take the example of Bangladesh alone and where they were in aquaculture, where they are today. Compare their systems with our systems in terms of performance, LCA, input, output characterization, not just dollar and tons, unit-wise, they are at higher level. Take Vietnam, compare rice of Vietnam and Andhra Pradesh. Vietnam rice is much at a higher level, unit-wise I'm telling, okay? Not just telling, okay, Shivamogga farm grows 20 tons and if you standardize it across units, so I think it is possible, it's slow. Dollar and ton is very important, but if we devise all schemes only for 5 tons to 10 tons, and you know what, you just lease out all land, cut all, you know, so there is a problem. Yeah, that's
what I said. Who will build the cat? How to build the cat?
No, that's the responsibility of the country and the younger generation. You know, now everybody is telling, let's not waste food. So if everybody, every household cuts their waste by even 2%, it's a significant amount. And each one of us are doing it, right? Each one of us, ಹಿಂದಿನ ದಿನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಿಸಾಕ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇಟ್ಟು ಫ್ರಿಡ್ಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟು tomorrow they are eating it. It's a very good intervention. Very good intervention. If everybody were to throw, even you know, big wedding halls, the waste is somehow used. There are NGOs working to collect the food and then reuse it productively. So people are focusing on preventing waste and loss. You know, so each one is difficult, but by saying it's not possible, we will not make headway. Well, that's what I'm trying. So blue revolution is a very good concept, but whether it's a concept on paper or whether we want to really show at least 1% accomplishment of blue revolution concept, we need to demonstrate some of these things. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Told integrated fish in simple form. In Tamil Nadu, they eat rice, rasam, and dried fish. Fried.
Good.
Even in Bangalore, they
Very
eat, sir.
But
happy.
we eat so much rasam, sambar, another.
That is, no, that's what. No, so that is what Satyanarayana, you rightly brought out. If people have to, including all of us, including me, if we have to really think of a balanced diet, every day we should look at our lunch plate. That's it. We don't need any extra education, whether it is a mound of rice with one sambar or few palya and one rasam and one banana and one chapati plus rice. You have the answer.
Sir, excellent presentation as ever. First, I'll complete that sentence, last sentence. Otherwise, blue revolution
Will
will
remain.
happen once in a blue moon.
That I do not.
That's okay. And my question is Bangladesh doing LCA, sir?
Huh?
Life cycle analysis?
Many are doing it. And CIFA is involved in LCA analysis. Many are doing it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Because I have worked in Bangladesh ecosystem, there is a socio-political and geographical aspect wherein a small place and very few options for progress or growth or whatever production. Seafood or fish is one of the major source for them, and that is how when we started, we were the one who now I can say confidently that we revolutionized Bangladesh aquaculture, whatever it is now. So the change for them, small things they accumulated, they were ready to invest huge on aquaculture because they started seeing the profit out of it in terms of through the hatcheries what we handle. There, the options for business investment using in-house resources are very few compared to that of India. So every businessman wanted to invest in aquaculture or hatchery or seafood, but geographical condition is very small. So output efficiency improved because they gave more focus on that particular domain and converted from catching the rural puna, they say, means the price from the coastal area. Millions they used to catch. That shifted to hatchery, and those all natural seeds are recovered. So these all kind of reasons. So I would not compare Indian condition with respect to Bangladesh. When you said influence and change human attributes, considering all those things, that need not be a reference here, sir. Over to you.
Okay.
Prakash,
Anyway, sir, attitude and the organized greed.
that is available even after the session. You can discuss leisurely. Huh?
No, this is mainly food for thought for younger minds to think and not to go back from KSTA thinking blue revolution, 25 tons and $200,000. No, I want them to go thinking back to their respective workplaces. What is LCA? What is human attribute? What is SBCC? Can I collect information from 25 farms in my neighborhood? I want them to go back in that concept. Not go back, this scheme is there, that scheme is there. No. I want them to go back with this thinking so that they can come back after 2 years in another seminar and say, okay, we collected data from 25 farmers farming macrobiome under this scheme of PMMSY. Baseline was this, now this is this. We see very happy this program has an impact. Let them tell that. Very good. But if they simply say, we will not agree. So that's what I want them to go back with that intention so that at least they can start thinking along those lines for their papers, for the research.
Thank you, Mohan sir.
Sir has one question.
Maybe I think, it's right. We are slowly moving towards the food systems approach. Yeah. Because that is one thing which has become internationally is accepted. Yeah. And even in India also a lot of work, especially going on food system approach. But when it comes to implementation of that, as you said rightly, fish is forgotten. Fish is nowhere mentioned in the value chain management. Yeah. That is the biggest problem. Maybe excepting Bengal, where people raise their voice, fish is an important component, or along the eastern coast, or maybe the Kerala coast. Yeah. This is the biggest problem, and as you said rightly, the big data is not there at all with India. Yeah. Believe me, we were graduates maybe 50 years back, and now even today, we are not really getting the data, which, of course, in the meetings they say they give all the astronomical figures, which may not be true. This is the biggest system drawback, I would say, without even understanding our system, and we are trying to project or we are trying to plan. So this is where I think we are failing. Probably if you look at the whole problem is this,
the policy makers are mostly North Indians who are vegetarians.
Yeah,
This
could
is
be
what
one
is the
reason,
system
yeah.
in India. I would
Yeah.
say that because I know, I have experienced. When you say fish, no, fish is only a small component.
Yeah.
Okay. See, this is what is happening. Probably talking about the blue revolution and also the sustainability issues
Together.
I thought together is something which is very, very deep.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yes. Thank you.
So just a minute. Thank you very much for your splendid talk. May I request Dr. Vasapa sir and also I request Mr. K.V. Prakash onto the desk to honor Dr. Simon sir. Thank you. You be on the side.
Bani, Prakash.
Bye.
Private enterprise.
ಮುಂದೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾ ಮುಂದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ
Thank you. Now we have a next lead talk on drones, exploring new possibilities in coastal zone monitoring and management. Dr. Vannagoda sir is here, and I request Dr. A.M. Ramesh to introduce. I think he is a better person because they got a long association here. Thank you. I think you don't need this also.
Good evening, everybody. Last talk of today by Dr. H. Vannagoda sir is the former Special Secretary, Department of Science and Technology. At present, he is the CEO of M Drone Company, Multiplex Drone Company. I have had more than 4 decades of association with sir as a student, then as a colleague, rather your mentee. He was my mentor. Sir completed his PhD in 1989 under the guidance of Dr. T.R.C. Gupta on aquatic pollution. Later he joined Mangalore University as a postdoc for 1.5 years. Later he was selected as a scientist in ISRO as a scientist D. There, based on his performance, he was promoted as scientist F till scientist F. He worked there. Then he was deputed to Karnataka State Remote Sensing Application Center in 2000, where when there were only 5 or 6 project scientists were working there. In a matter of 7 years, the whole complexion of state remote sensing was changed. It became the nodal agency. More than 400 scientists were working both in Bangalore and Mysore Center. Later, he came to Science and Technology Department. You name any science center, it was developed under his guidance. And Pilikula Science Center, Dharwad Science Center, and many more are there. He was responsible. In fact, whatever infrastructure you see, you have said, you have told good things about KSTA, it was because of sir. He was the CEO and member secretary for more than 15 years, then handed over to me, just carrying on whatever he has developed. With this very brief background, I request Vannagoda sir to come over and deliver his talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramesh. My respected professors, I am seeing a lot of them. They were mentors, guiders, they were my teachers. So I'm so happy to meet all of them after a very, very long time. In fact, it's very nice to see such a wonderful personalities here in our case TA. In fact, I'm going to speak on the coastal zone management after a gap of 19-20 years in this field. So respected dignitaries, participants, and good evening everybody. Maybe it's very difficult to sit after 5:30, but still, I would like to give a few glimpses of what drone can do. I'm sure you're all experts in coastal zone management, but I will try to talk about a little bit about the drone because this is going to be the future technology in the coming years. Okay. today you have, know, the kind of problems we have been observing along the coast. Okay, I will try to summarize some of these actually, the environmental issues, particularly the coastal zone are rich in the biodiversity. They are highly ecologically sensitive, diverse environment that need to be protected because we have overexploited some of our ecosystem. The second is the climate change. I'm sure today the biggest topic is on the climate change that is truly affecting the coast, the sea and the coast, in turn affecting even our interland. That you have been observing, particularly in the last 10, 15 years, the kind of changes which we are seeing, particularly in our climate changes. The disaster risk management, once in 3 years, again, the coastal areas are being flooded. A lot of even urban areas, unplanned urban areas are also being affected. And sometimes the drought, recurring droughts, which are affecting not only the coastal area, even the inland areas. Then the sustainable development. In fact, today, many of us are dependent on the coast. Now, affecting the coast indirectly means that we are affecting our livelihood, not only coastal livelihood, but also the inland livelihood, because we are indirectly depending on the coast and the ocean. Marine resources management, I'm sure you're all aware of the kind of importance attached to the fisheries. In fact, Dr. C.V.N. Mohan sir has nicely said about that, but since you're all from fisheries background, I don't want to get into that. Urbanization and pollution, in fact, urbanization, if you look at nearly 35% of our population lives within 100 kilometers from the coast. Even if you look at actually, in our own country, out of the 4 metropolitan cities, 3 are along the coast. Chennai, Mumbai, the finance capital of India, and the Calcutta. They are all in the coastal areas. This is shows how much importance the coasts are. And of course, today the ocean and the coastal areas are being treated as the dumping ground for many of the industrial waste and even the urban waste. In view of all this, there is an urgent need to look at the coastal zone management, coastal zone monitoring, and sustainable development of our coastal resources. Today, sorry, it has come to the end, I think. Today, we use various methods for studying the coastal zone and the oceanography. But the most important technologies which are being talked about in the coming days are mainly the satellite remote sensing, without interfering the ocean, without interfering the coastal areas, unmanned area system with the drones, which I am going to speak, and the geographical information system. This goes along with the drone and the remote sensing because they are an integrated system to understand the kind of dynamics of the coast, to understand the sustainability of the coast, to understand what best could be done for development of our coast. So, in fact, today when I talk about the remote sensing, it could be a satellites which are operating about 700, 800 kilometers from the ground. We talk about the aerial photography, we talk about the drone, we talk about the ground. They are complementary each other, supplements and complements many of the observations. But today, I will be speaking much on the drone. Drone is basically a slang word. In fact, the expansion of that is actually dynamic, remotely operated navigation equipment. Truly speaking, it is called as unmanned aerial systems or unmanned aerial vehicle. In fact, it is also one type of aircraft. But in this aircraft, there is no pilot on board the vehicle. The pilot will be on the ground. It could be operated manually or automatically. Of course, pilot on the ground is a must. Whether it's on the ground or even sitting in the lab, you can control the drone because a lot of autonomy is happening in the field of drone. Of course, there are different kinds of a drone. Maybe just I try to see. Ramesh, can somebody help me this? This can you put it actually video? This copy okay, just try that actually. In fact, when you talk about the drone, today there are different types of drones, which I will talk after some time. And you know, the person to operate the drone, and the person requires a equipment. It is called a ground control equipment. These are the three components which are required for operating the drone. Okay, next one, please. Next. Today, in fact, about 5 years back, not many people were knowing about the drone. Today, many people know drone because of the war between countries, the Russia-Ukraine war, or Israel, Palestine, Gaza, and all that. Because of that, actually, the drone is becoming a more popular. But today, what we are talking about for the, not for the military application, for the civilian application, how best drone could be used for many of our developmental issues rather than military applications. Because the type of drone which are being used for military is different from the type of drone which are being used for our developmental activities, particularly for study of the coast. Today, the drones are being used for many, many applications. Imagination is the limitation. Sky is the limitation today in use of drones. Every day, a lot of changes are happening, particularly from the last 3 years. Okay, because one of the biggest issues in operation of the drones in the civilian application was mainly because the drone regulations were very, very complicated. About 4 years or 5 years back, operating a drone was very difficult because getting a permission from Government of India, because the Director General of Civil Aviation, they control the drone regulations. The regulations were so tough, it was very difficult to operate the drone. In fact, even in Government of Karnataka, the Knowledge Commission recommended the drone case studies for Karnataka. In fact, the letter went from Chief Secretary to DGCA. Even then, we did not get the permission. That was the kind of a difficulty we had in operating the drone. But today, in the last 3 to 4 years, because of the demand from the public, demand from the users, and also looking at the kind of tremendous application drone can provide for various developmental issues, the Government of India liberalized the drone policy. Now, without even Government of India's permission, in many areas of the country, except in the restricted areas, we can operate the drone, particularly in the coastal regions. Not only coastal region, in many, many regions. 90% of in India's territorial area, we can operate the drone without permission from the Government of India. We call that as a green zone. Only in the red zone and the yellow zone, okay, particularly the airport region, the strategic buildings like airports, Vidhan Sauda, ISRO, DRDO, defense related, only in such areas are international boundaries. Only in such areas there is a restriction for operation by the civilian people, not for the government. Government can do anything based on the requirement. This is the one which can be used for coastal zone mapping.
The most accurate VTOL drone for mapping and surveying. Winter 1 combines vertical takeoff and landing with long-range flights. The vertical landings on spot allow you to operate the Winter 1 everywhere, even in confined spaces and on rocky grounds. In combination with its efficiency in forward flight, you now can accomplish large missions that you weren't able to do up until today. Winter 1 carries the best-in-class cameras for your work. They can be swapped in no time on the field. With the Sony RX1 R2, Wingshore offers a 42-megapixel full-frame camera with an ultra-low distortion lens that enables the unprecedented combination of image resolution and flight coverage. Wingshore 1 sets the new benchmark for surveying grade accuracy, eliminating ground control points from your workflow by activating the state-of-the-art PPK. Surveyors obtain a centimeter accuracy.
Yes. Next, you can go to my slides. So today, in fact, drones, in fact, not many studies have been done in India using the drone. That's why I have tried to give actually a lot of materials which are downloaded from the internet. It is not my work. Let me honestly accept that. It's all actually I have downloaded from the various sources just to give a glimpse of how drones could be used for coastal zone management, including in the fisheries. Okay? Yeah. So in the last 3-4 years, particularly from August 2021, the drone regulation 2021 it is called actually, and updated in 2022. A lot of regulations have been liberalized, and because of that today large number of companies have developing the drones, and mostly some of them were assembled by taken from the China. Okay. Otherwise, till 2021, the China's drone market was dominated. In fact, globally, they were the best expert in the drone. Let me tell you very honestly, today, the China is the best in terms of manufacturing of the drone, in terms of providing an autonomy in the drone. That's the reason today the government of India has brought restriction on that drone. You cannot import the drone so easily, but components can be imported to some extent, not for the military application, for the civilian applications. But we are good in software development, as India is a leading in the IT industry, particularly in the, not in the product development, but in the software development. A lot of autonomy are being made, and today a lot of advancements are being made in the drone technology, which could be used. Today, some of the concentration is related to agriculture. I'm sure in the coming years, it can do wonders in the coastal zone areas. Next one, please. Oh, so today there is a restriction of import of drones except for a specific purpose, and Make in India concept, a lot of incentives are being given for production of the drones, not only even purchase of the drones, particularly for the agriculture universities. They can always purchase up to 10 lakhs, 100% subsidy is given to them. Okay? Even for the general purpose also, subsidies are being given, and lot is being used for many applications. Today, for studying the coastal zone or for studying the various developmental activities, we have different types of drones, particularly called quadcopters. They are for smaller areas. They can be operated for 15 to 20 minutes, but you can have any number of drones so that you can cover the entire coastline. Now there is also a technology wherein a large number of drones could be operated autonomously. It's called swarm drones with interchangeable information. Then there is actually called Kstacopter. The 6 propellers, they are called propellers. They are called propellers. There are 6. There are sometimes even 8, depending on the weight. You can increase the propellers up to 8. For studying the coastal zone, maybe the quadcopter is quite good actually. They can vertically take off and survey the area. The another category is called something like an aeroplane. It requires a runway for both landing and takeoff. Okay, but another one is actually a hybrid between the aircraft kind of a thing, aeroplane kind of a thing, as well as the multi-rotor. This is called vertical takeoff. It can take off vertically, no need of a runway, and can fly like an aeroplane. So this is of course still a lot of developments is happening in this case, but I'm sure in the next 2 to 3 years you will find a lot of them, and they are very good for surveying the coast. The picture which you saw, that was actually developed by the Switzerland, and that is really very good for assessing the coastal, and it can operate for almost 1 hour along the coastline.
Of course, when I talk about drone, it basically is an aircraft, but it has to carry different kinds of payloads, depending on the kind of observation you want to see. You know, like a photograph, we use actually what is called a RGB camera, red, green, and blue. It gives a very good pictures. In fact, today all Bollywood and Bollywood and our own thing, Hollywood, they uses the drone for aerial photography and videography. The stunning pictures could be get from this kind of a drone. And today the drones can provide you even up to 100 megapixels. Is much better than what you can see from your eyes. That is the kind of an accuracy one can able to get from these drones. Okay? Certainly, I'm sure this kind of an observation will bring a lot of value for our coastal zone studies, particularly for the erosion, the shoreline changes, how the mangroves look. You can even count the number of species. Each tree can be observed from this kind of the drone. The second category is called the multispectral camera, because RGB is a very broad camera. That's why you get higher spatial resolution, because they all works based on the principle that the light which comes from the sun will be reflected back. The reflected energy will be absorbed by these sensors. Okay? When you have broad wavelength, the energy coming from the ground is very high, it can capture. When you have a split spectral bands, like your spectroscopy, the energy will be absorbed, will be less. But that is very good for discrimination of the vegetation. What kind of a species it is, whether it is under the stress or whether it is in a good condition, particularly in the agricultural field. You can even assess actually what type of crop it is, what could be the yield from that, what is the condition of that crop, or that. Similarly, the mangrove forest can be observed this actually and assessed with the kind of a deforestation which is happening, the kind of forest, the mangroves vegetation status, and all that can be assessed with this kind of the multispectral camera. In fact, these are the cameras are also being flown on the satellites. In fact, as the technology is progressing, some of these cameras are becoming very, very small, but more powerful. Okay? There is actually thermal camera, which is again very good actually for particularly for the night time. Actually, it is very good. You can differentiate the different kinds of animals, the water stress of mangroves. All that can be done with this, particularly the night fishing related thing. If you want to monitor, I'm sure this kind of a camera are going to be very, very helpful. And there is another one called hyperspectral camera. It will have large number of like 100 to 200 spectral reflectance, observation capability it will have. That can able to identify even the diseases of the plant. Like our eyes may not be able to observe whether diseases is coming or not, but this kind of a hyperspectral cameras can able to say whether is likely to be going to be disease affected or not. That kind of a powerful, this kind of a hyperspectral cameras are, are being developed even for the drones, but they are little expensive. It requires large analytical capability. It's not just only the drone. The drone provides the data, but the drone data needs to be analyzed, identify the suitable sites for brackish water aquaculture, suitable sites for the formation of the jetties, construction of the ports, and so on. It helps you in decision making. It helps you in monitoring. It helps you in monitoring, management. So, see, any type of data with respect to the latitude and longitude, the position, it can provide you the information and also the solutions. Okay? So, that's where whatever you put and the kind of output will be, the integrity of the data depends on that. You can always do even the modeling in this geographical information system. Today, the GIS is being applied in every field, and there's a drone which provides the drone and satellite which provides the spatial data forms an important input for an accurate assessment, monitoring, management, evaluations in any of our developmental activities. So, of course, naturally it tells you what is it. Oh, there is an auditorium here. Where is it? It is in some particular place. You know, what has changed? Oh, whether there is a building here 10 years back? No. Today what it is? Yes, a building. What could be the next 5 years? Depending on the program, there could be another building coming up. All the decision could be made in this, even modeling could be done, the patterns, all that can be able to identify with this. I am sure the drones, GIS are going to be the backbone for many of our developmental activities in the coming years, and certainly they can be very, very helpful, particularly our coastal zone management in terms of erosion monitoring, you know, in terms of coastal zone monitoring, fisheries, the mangroves, the disaster management, and various other applications in the particularly the land use land cover along the topography of along the coastal zones, and the sustainable development of many of our, even the biodiversity habitat mapping, even the pollution actually could be monitored, particularly the disposal of waste today. Time up now. Yeah. In 2 minutes up. Okay. This is the kind of image one can able to get from these drones. Okay.
Can you show the 2 centimeter
2 centimeter
resolution?
resolution. See, this actually.
You promised to show an
image. This I already shown actually that elevation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 centimeter. All this actually, see, it depends on your flying height. Now, if you fly, say, around 10 meters, 20 meters high, you are like, for example, if you go to camera, if you have a camera, if you take it from a short distance, you get clear picture. For a long, if you go, actually a large area covered, correct? But pictures may not be so clear. Similarly, in the drone, depending on the height, if you take it actually, supported by the real-time kinetic GPS I was mentioning. With this correction, if you make it actually, it can provide you 2 to 3 centimeter accuracy.
And even if it is a larger picture,
Mm.
the pixels are high, you can even expand it and see, so that the image doesn't get distorted.
See, this is called actually pixelation. Like, for example, to a certain extent, you can always zoom it. Beyond that, actually, pixelation happens. Okay, so that needs to be taken into consideration. Okay, pollution, coastal pollution. In fact, we can also identify the areas which are suitable for development of industries along the coast, because today one of the biggest issues is the coastal industries development and urbanization and coastal vegetation. Even the land surveying using drones today, the country, all 6.62 lakh villages are going to be mapped using the drone, particularly for the rural areas, for providing the property ID, because in the urban areas we have a property ID, but in rural areas we don't have a property IDs. In fact, 8 states have been selected for doing this kind of a work, and in the long run it could be done for the entire country.
Karnataka is there?
Yes, Karnataka is also there. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
What is the maximum weight of the drones for this purpose, and how much load they can carry?
Sir, there are 5 kinds of drones. One is called nano drones, which is 250 grams, basically for a recreational purpose. There is another called micro, 250 gram to 2 kg. That is quite good for wedding related things they use, that kind of a drone. That is called micro. Then the small category is called, that is called 2 kgs to 25 kg. Then the third one is called actually medium, 25 to 150 kgs. Then fifth category is called large. This is from 150 kg to 500 kgs. Okay, this is called all of maximum weight. The drone means it is called all of maximum weight. Okay, the total weight including the payload. Like, for example, yeah, it can carry, like, say for example, 25 kg can carry up to 10 kg payload. Like for crop spraying and all that, they carry actually 10 kg, 25 kg, 50 kg. Today there is a Chinese drone which can carry payload. I am talking about payload. Is 50 kg. So another 50 kg will be our drone. Okay. So depends actually.
And can it be solar powered? I mean,
that is a future research. See, today the battery is going to be one of the things, correct? That's the lifespan of that actually depending on your weight. Like for example, a 25 kg, it can come only about 10 to 15 minutes, correct, or 20 minutes. Okay, if it is wing thrust, smaller one, need not be a big payload required for your coastal zone management because you are only mapping related thing. It may be 3 to 4 kg. It may come for about 1 hour also. So the future is going to be the drone with the solar or an hybrid kind of a thing, battery, solar, or fuel based, or hydrogen cell based. There a lot of things are being talked about, but today in reality, the battery, lithium polymer battery or lithium ion batteries are being used. There is a solid state batteries are being developed in the coming year. Still in the, it can be recharged in half an hour, 30 minutes. See, in fact, when we take a drone, we always carry 8 to 10 batteries along with us, so that swappable batteries, just immediately the charged batteries can be replaced in no time. That is called taxi, drone taxi. Up to 500 kg, in that actually even the drone taxis are also included, but today no permission has been given to anybody, correct? Because they have to have a separate traffic management route for that, correct? Even if a drone delivery is also being tried by Google and Amazon in US, I think recently Blue Dot also, but it has been stopped because in our country, in US of course it was tried, unless otherwise a traffic management plan is being done, like what we do for the traffic in the road, on the road, the similar thing has to be done for the drone, which is taking a time. For example, during COVID times, the COVID vaccination was transported, was through drone from to northeastern states and also to Andaman Nicobar using drone. Even in fact, recently the Himachal Pradesh wants to transport the apple from the production place to the market, because through the hilly region it takes a lot of a time, while the drone in the air it takes less time. It can.
Anyway, that is not economically viable,
Yeah,
sir.
yes, they have stopped now actually. Yes, yes. See, it's all a question of few years. Maybe I'm sure in the days to come, it all happens. It becomes reality.
Sir.
Old age,
Yes, yes. Reality.
Sir, my department has developed a beach tourism plan for the Karnataka.
What is that?
Beach tourism plan
Tourism,
with the support of NITK. So we are using drone for this thing. You said many times. You said not much of work is going on in India. Advanced work is initiated by IAC, NITK, Sahyadri College of Engineering, Ramaya College, even RP College of Engineering. It's happening, sir, for many years. Only it. You said not much of work is going on in India.
See, actually, that's Prithviraj, who is in the NITK, is doing it actually for this. But usually they use the vehicle, correct? They use some kind of a sensors and they do the mapping actually, number one. Number two, only for R&D it has been done in some places like BITS Pilani, like NITK, and in Ramaya College. I am also one of the in one of their committees actually, the drone related thing. See, they have developed the drone and they got even award actually in USA, some 10th prize or so, only transporting the water bottles in the flood for the areas of some unknown areas and all that. But in terms of work for the coastal zone, not much.
No, that is because of the law of the land.
No, things have been easy. Now from 2021, August 25th, drone rule 2021 has become, it has been updated in 2002. Now you can operate, see there are three types actually. Near the airport, near the yellow zone, that's within 12 kilometers from the airport, all called as a green zone. Okay, 90% of our country falls in the green zone where you can operate it.
Anyway, that was not my question, sir. That was my opinion. Thank you. That was my opinion, sir. That's
it's done actually. See,
one question I have. Recently, World Bank has come out with a project to clean up coast for plastic waste. It's a huge project, and Karnataka government is working with them, Forest Department and even Fisheries Department. Can they use this drone for identifying
it can be done.
Plastic
It can
is
be done.
non-biodegradable. Plastic is non-biodegradable. It will be there for hundred of years. So how to use this technology for
See, in fact, one of the things which I mentioned about the disposal of waste in the ocean, particularly in the coastal area, they concentrated on the plastic related things, other waste and all that. See, that awareness has not come. Say, for example, some states slowly they are developing what is called drone policy. The respective states, the government of India also now actually is coming out, particularly the agriculture department, agriculture and farmers welfare, they are coming out a policy. Similar here also, states are coming out with a policy. In government of Karnataka, it was from last 5-6 years there has been a plan to prepare a plan, still not been prepared. Okay, okay. Even very recently, about 6 months back, the forest department and the Department of IT department, they organized a workshop on sustainable development using the drones. But after that, policy has not come out. See, what more interested is that policy. Today, the agriculture department actually have taken some move where they are going to do the empanelment so that for agriculture application, it could be used. See, R&D is happening, but in terms of an operational applications, that's where it's coming up. So many states are coming. Like, for example, in agriculture, today the government of India has taken a lot of incentives. IFCO, for example, today they have covered all the Gram Panchayat for spraying of nano urea, nano DAP. Correct? And today also they have extended their project. Pesticides.
Some farmers are using it.
Yes, sir. In fact, this again a demand. There are not many competitors, Like, for example, during a particular season, during a particular time, yes, we want the spray.
But it should not happen like.
And we don't have many drones today. See, today. No, there is helicopter. See, there is a lot of difference between helicopter and drone. See, the drone can spray just 3 kilometers above the crop, while the helicopter sprays from the top about few meters, I think several meters. So that and also the spraying will be done during particular time. There is a standard operating procedure brought out by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Number one, even the state agriculture universities are also empowered to bring out drones. I mean, there are specific areas, what type of crop, what type of spraying to be done, and all that. Even agriculture, for example, even coastal aquaculture, you can monitor. Like, for example, in fact, I came at the last moment, sir, you said 2,000 ponds needs to be, we can identify very precisely using the drone.
Yeah, that's what is required.
Yes.
Fisheries.
Yes. It can be observed. You can identify area suitable for the brackish water, looking at the slope, looking at the elevation, looking at the orientation of that place, how the water exchange takes place, all that kind of a thing.
Already in government, there are 3-4 institutions which are running drones, especially inside. Then I think
See, they are all basically R&D organizations. It has to come from the government. That may take more time, but Government of India, in fact, the Honorable Prime Minister has said clearly that by 2030, India is going to be a global hub for the drone. That is the kind of importance the Government of India has attached for the drone.
Okay. Yeah.
that's what we are here.
See, today there are more than 300 drone manufacturing companies, startups in India. In just last 2-3 years.
One last question.
Yeah.
Is the last question. Okay.
Yes.
Come to the point of drone. First name that we can't remember who is the father of drone, but the Karnataka people can remember that the name of Drone Pratap. Firstly, and when come to the idea of drone, we have normal idea that we know more about aerial drones. It have been boomed in agriculture, forestry, and other departments. Actually, the aerial drones it has become a common aspect. Actually, my friend is also doing a startup, Highfly, a drone private company in Mandya, and commonly that every drone parts which is imported from China, everywhere in India, it is imported from China. But as my point of view, as in aspect of fishery sector, the drone, the underwater ground,
the underwater ground determination of drone must be mainly focused. I will give two examples, like Swarna Tribuja boat from the Malpe, which has been missed in sea. Till now, no identification has been gone throughout the place. And also recently in Shirur Gudda Kusita, that Arjuna from Kerala, the body still did not identify. The truck has been collapsed in the water and due to some other reasons. In the recent phenomenon, the more aspect has been going on to the underground water. Mainly the government sector also having that open cage system for every farmers, means open sea culture. The open sea culture which can mainly which can determine by using the drone underwater, which can identify water quality, pH, fish behavior analysis, nutrient dynamics, and also can be used as a automated feeding in the open cage sea system. Sir, what is your idea regarding the underground?
I understood. First question is Drone Pratap. Drone Pratap, I don't know about that, but whether he got the approval from Government of India in terms of safety and airworthiness of the drone, that is most important. Without that, actually, you cannot operate the drone, number one. Number two, the drone for the coastal and land is different from the drone which is being operated at the ocean, sea. Okay, so the drone for the coastal and the land is slowly maturing and is quite developed also and developing also. Okay, which can be used for even the shark breeding. The shark behavioral thing have been studied using the drone from the top, not from the bottom. Okay, now for the bottom, the kind of a sensors which they use are totally different. This sonars kind of a thing, for bathymetry they use it actually. Okay, there are totally different kinds of cameras and this are being used because coral reef studies, even the coral reefs with the land-based kind of a thing can be done with high resolution camera. But when you want to go for a deeper area, up to 2000 feet, people have tried actually. It's still under R&D. Okay, regarding the fish feeding and all that, it can be done even with the land-based drones, because even the fish aquaculture farms, if it is a granular kind of a thing, yes, you can spread it using the drone. Okay, I hope I have answered the question, because see, the deep ocean drones are yet under still R&D. Maybe again 3-4 years you will find out.
Who is monitoring the drone movement?
Sir, one important agency which monitors the drones is basically DGCA, Director General of Civil Aviation, number one. Number two, many a times they are not able to do because shortage of staff. Yes, you are aware in every system. But our neighbors itself is sometimes monitors that. If somebody doesn't like us, if somebody is operating, you'll always give the police complaint, because police complaint could be given. And drones, when they are operating, although in the green zone, we are permitted to operate, but we are supposed to take the permission of the other land, because we are entering into the privacy of somebody's lands. And if there are people, the drone falls on them, it is going to be a liability on them. So there is a law. How much is being implemented? I am really not able to answer that. It all depends on how well we monitor and manage it. It's like a police system.
Dr. Onegoda.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your
really good talk, out of box thinking.
Yeah, 1 minute, sir.
Normally, fisheries graduates talk only of fish. It is totally science and technology. It has evolved so much into drone, everything. We have to make use of such technologies.
Okay.
He is immediate 1 year senior to me in the college. Thank you, Dr. Onegoda.
Yeah, thank you very much for an energetic talk. And now may I request Dr. P.K. Sahu sir. He has come all the way from Odisha here. And it's a small token of gratitude. Yeah. And also I request Dr. Yeah, wait a minute, sir. Dr. Sahu, sir. There are another two people there. They are sitting since 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I request Dr. Sahu, sir, to honor chairperson of this session. Yeah, Dr. Ramesh, you can also join, please. Thank you, sir. Yeah, please, sir. Thank you, sir. And Dr. Gangadhar, please. Projector. Dr. Gangadhar, please. Thank you all. And sorry to say, there is no break, okay? And now I request Mr. Prakash KV to, yeah, I can't say, but
Dr. Prakash, 15 minutes time. 15 minutes. 15 minutes, please. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Sir, Satyanand sir, please be seated, and you will not regret for next 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it is. I think you have to join me in my mind, the journey of the entire, subject. You have been working on taking care of the country's GDP and food security. I want to take care of you all now. Can you join me in that? It is somewhere, nowhere you must have come across this kind of revelation. Whether it is a revelation of science or science of revelation, it is a climax innovation or R&D from my personal and very sensitive, or it was confidential till now. This is the first occasion I have been sharing, which with the intention that this can benefit my people around me, my family, my friends, my seniors, juniors, and all who taught me, all who helped me, motivated me. Everyone should go with very good, relaxed, relieved future ahead. This was my intention to share. Now, we are focusing on healthcare and food. That's a platform for you to keep in your mind. I have 4 different layers. First is preamble. Second is a problem statement. You will have a lot of excitement and then surprises. Then solution for that. Every problem should have a solution, but few problems I could not get solution anywhere. That you have a solution now. Then comes is a final part. There's a patent on that. The patent worked on that. These all have taken close to 12 years. Okay. Now, preamble is that, according to me, last 50 years, we have spoiled our nature, our surroundings, what it took 50,000 years. Okay. And whether it is food, what we eat, what we drink, what we smell, what we touch, what we inhale, whether it is volatile organic compounds or the parameters like pH, salinity, pressure, temperature, humidity, everything around atmosphere. if you take all those factors together, we have spoiled as human beings. We have spoiled entire nature in last 50 years, which took 50,000 years. Okay. Now, this is one part. You can keep this in mind. Second part is that in my research, I have gone back, say, 100 years to 200 years. Today, I had my father's death anniversary ritual in the morning, early morning. I could only recall 2 or 3 generations. But when you start going back personally and also taking science into consideration, when you keep going back, you can go back to 100 years, 200 years, 500 years. You can see the changes. I lived every 100 years in my research, going back. And just to find a solution for the problems what me as a representative, human beings have created all the problems around us. Now, when I go back, the food habits, the way we used to live, you go back further, then thousands of years. So, since there is a time constraint, what it takes 40 minutes for you to understand that, I am cutting short very fast. You can start, you can just join me as a common man, and with lot of common sense and logical thinking, and you start analyzing the journey what I have undergone. Then went back, then I wanted to get what I have lost in my genes. So, I have lost many things in the name of civilization, urbanization, or modern life. So, how do you get that? So, went back thousands of years. Then there was a time called there was no agriculture. It was only natural, whatever available we used to enjoy. It was not only food, what you drink, what you touch, what you smell. You start analyzing, we were in deep forest. We were in mid of jungle. My gene, if you go back, which is having 50,000 years, which I am connecting, but you can go back to 3 million years. Forget about these, Neanderthals and Denisovans or Devinosans. So, this has close to 2 lakh years, and then 4 lakh years back, that so-called human evolution was in a different form. So, human evolution has 3 million around connect. Before that, what were we? So, my one gene, the life has gone beyond 3 million years. Then you go back, it can go up to 4.3 or 4.5 billion years. I have gone up to that stage. What was I, or what was me at that time? I was just a single cell that became multicellular. Then evolution happened. So, the same life, one single cell has gone, has seen 4.5 billion years of journey, right? So, my life is connected to that 4.5 billion years. Before that, there was something, but I can only relate to that. Keep this aside. Now, you connect to the present, health related or food related things. When you talk about volatile organic compounds, we only read it as particle matters, 2.5, 10, and the complexity of that we don't know. Beyond a point, nobody knows. Now, you relate to the solutions. Where were hospitals 100 years back, 200 years back, 500 years back? How many hospitals were there? Then how were they living? They were living 200 years, 250 years. You can relate to Mahabharata, Ramayana. Prior to that, what was there? You can consider Vedic standard. Why Vedic standard? Because there were someone called Rishis and Munis. They were treated as mad, and they were attacked. Many Rishis and Munis were killed just because they used to behave different. But they were different not because of anything. It is because of the special information they used to get in their mind. At the time, we all were in jungles, and we did not have anything. And there were a lot of problems. We used to have health-related problem, mind-related problem. There was no language. There was only no communication, all body language. We were like animals. Then we were healthy at that time. Even if you take paleo foods or whatever it is, these all were have become a passion now. But what was that at that time? So there were a lot of homas or avana, whatever is conducted. It was not on any religious thing. It was on finding a solution. So that is volatile organic compounds or plant-based medicines, and those all were the research I carried out, and it is years of research. It started with my kid. When I used to travel around the world, I used to bring best of the material, thinking that I'm trying to give best shampoo, best soap or best things for my kids. One day I realized, when I started seeing all the FMCG products, the kind of ingredients in that, then started doing reverse engineering. And I thought I should go back to jungle. It is not possible. I have already surrendered to urban world. I cannot go back. So how do I go back? Then I worked on a solution. So I have found a solution. But what is the problem now? Problem is that I lost my mother in 2019 when COVID-19 started. She developed started with acidity, then it became acid reflux, GERD, and it continues, and it finally diagnosed or ended as carcinoma. Carcinoma is the only threat now, which was not there before. Everywhere, everything is leading to carcinoma, whether it is air, water, soil, or you touch everything, whatever you touch, everything is plastic or polymer based. Everything is heading to carcinoma. So it's a 360-degree approach. They are attacking us, not only us, forget about human beings. Human beings are the most cruel creatures. It is affecting a lot of plants and animals. So we are leaving a bad world to our future. So these all thoughts made me to arrive at a situation wherein my mother was undergoing. In couple of months, it was diagnosed, and when I lost her, and there was one more in the family who had similar symptoms, similar kind of diagnosis. So this is the case study now. The problem statement is that I'm starting now. This is where you should keep remembering each and everything. The situation in which the carcinoma was there in one of her children, and that after her death, that was attended and solved in 2 months. Okay, and the report says that if you do not take care, it will lead to advanced stage and all those things. That was solved in 2 months, 3 months. Then COVID was there. It was 2020 March, the lockdown announced. Then the same case study, the same person had to undergo the test because of some basic symptoms, which the diagnosis has to be made. Lab report gave parameters which no one can imagine. It is not just one parameter alone. Every parameter was unbelievably abnormal. You must have heard the, for example, everyone knows about blood glucose level. What is the maximum anyone has seen or heard? Can you share the maximum you have come across? Okay. HB1AC? Okay. This case study has 14.4 and blood sugar level 640. What is the cholesterol level, what you have seen, come across? These all were in thousands. The same patient. And then liver enzyme, whether it is SGPT or SGOT, all other blood parameters. You name anything, nothing is 1:5, 1:10 kind of, take one, get 5 offer. That was a kind of parameter on one particular person who lost mother, and then this was during peak of COVID. March, April. Now the same person, the case person is sitting in front of you and talking to you all. Okay, and Important thing is, he has never met a doctor. Can you imagine this? No, it is repeated. That doubt was there. It is repeated. So, now, how that happened? Do you have the courage, any one of you or anyone can address that without meeting a doctor? It is multiple organ failure syndrome, COVID at its peak. Comorbid was the next option. Then there is no OPD in the hospitals. I have more than 40 hospitals as my clients. I had best of my doctors and CEOs of the hospitals known to me, but still then the logic, common sense and the data what I have learned are accumulated from my family, my academics, my teachers, all my colleagues, plus the kind of research we did in all our ventures in our profession. We could arrive at solution which I am the authority. I am not advocating anyone. I am not influencing anyone, and this is the truth. Does it excite you? And after that, I have floated 4 companies, private limited companies. All are successful. So the reason here is not to take any sympathy or reveal anything, or it was purely my personal thing. Reason here is that I have worked extensively on arriving at a solution, simplifying that, and taking care of a lot of people where they had no other option or they had a lot of fear in their mind. The fear is gone. Can you imagine? When you touch here, it pains. When you touch here, it pains. Hairs will start falling. You know that kind of numbers when that kind of situation is there. Nothing cooperates. You cannot sit. You sit like a skeleton. You cannot sleep. Nothing is normal. That kind of situation will arise. So, what I want to tell you here is that it is possible, keeping all our science, in a parallelly in a very good spirit. There are a lot of things which we can simplify and find a solution. For that, the modern science help us to arrive at diagnosing, understanding each and every parameter related to health. Let me come to the solution now. Very simple. What we eat, what we drink, what we touch, what we smell, what we inhale, what is around us. These all the simple factors I worked on. The research is different. I'll give you the solution because research takes days together, okay, or months together to understand if you go. And it is continuous. Now, there are a lot of changes on that. I've converted them as, now last 2 months I worked on converting them as products, not as the solution. But I'm sharing you the complete solution. I covered preamble, I covered the problem statement. Now I'm touching the solution. And after that, I have the patent part, which I have made it as a patent because that's how the society works. The third point is solution. What is solution? Just now I have simplified. You remember the parameters, right? None of the even blood pressure, it is 1:2. Whatever, you can double it. Okay. So morning when I get up, I have a juice. I'll tell you what it contains. Then before meal, before breakfast, 30 minutes, 40 minutes gap, any physical activity, whatever you do, including Surya Namaskara is the best, because what the juice you drink, it reaches each and every part. So here you connect I went back to 4.5 billion years, single cell. I behave like single cell. My body, entire body is a single cell now, because he is my Muttata, he is my ancestor, he or she. So that is the life which has given 4.5 billion years, right? So I connected there, and when you talk about cell, cell forms tissues, tissues form organ, organ forms body, and every cell has so many things which has everything required for a body inside a cell. So I need to protect single cell now, and my body became single cell, started working on each and everything related to my body as a single cell. Now what I have juice, do exercise whatever possible, and give 30-40 minutes break, have breakfast. Before breakfast I have 5 types of sprouted sprouts, a spoon each, a bowl of sprouts. Then breakfast is made of dicotyledons, not monocotyledons. Okay, I think all of you know what is dvidala dhanya, ekadala dhanya. Everything made of dicotyledons. No single grain, means no monocotyledon, no rice, no wheat. Only, even if idli and dosa you can have, the dal can be there. Instead of rice you can use green gram or any of the other grams. You get wonderful idli and dosa. And same thing, anything dicotyledons you can use that. So breakfast is done with lot of vegetables and dals, it is done. Then meal, any grain is okay, but not polished. Polished, any single grain is okay. Millets or even unpolished rice or wheat is fine, but preferably millets kind. And then in the dinner, yes, same thing you can repeat with more of vegetables and raw and boiled vegetables with lot of dals. Now please remember that I am not just trying to address one issue. The blood or the single cell of my body has 150 issues. Anything you relate to modern life challenges or evolved diseases, everything my cell has. But I have to work on each and everything. One issue, it is easy to address. So everything, when you have to do the research which has gone in depth, is to address everything at one go. Okay. Now I'll come back to the other parts. In between snacks, even in my car I have a snack now, if in case I want to have. It is made of 12 nuts or the seeds, including sunflower seed or that melon seeds or whatever it is. 12 kinds of nuts. Every day I will have, including till or flaxseed. Every day should go to my body. Now I have covered juice. I will explain now, give the details of the juice. I have told you about the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the snacks. So now I decided not to have white milk during this time, white rice, white maida, white salt, white sugar, and never took this. Instead of that, sugar, white sugar, I'm okay with not brown. This palm sugar, coconut sugar, or even jaggery is fine, little jaggery is fine. And no white milk during this period. Even now I avoid. Now no whites, I have told you, right? Then after the meal, breakfast, when you touch 100 minutes, if you have breakfast at 8:30, 1.5 hour, 100 minutes after that, I take 100 steps minimum, and I never use lift. Whole day I use 3-4 floors with steps only. But 100 minutes, 100 steps after the meal, all the 3 meals. Plus you can do whatever additional you want to do, but minimum 100 steps. And when you take bath or in bathroom, no shampoo, no soap. I don't dye also. Okay. So all hair falling will come down, that whatever hair related issues will stop, and skin, at that time when parameters are not in place, the skin will be in a very sensitive stage. Okay. So use only when it is required, use minimum soap, arrived out, don't get carried away by the brand whichever is marketing, which is of natural ingredients, that you can use it when it is required. Never use soap or shampoo. I use the natural one available, the nuts or whatever liquid, and use them. Now when you take bath, see, the first cold water should reach the whole body. It should become cold, whatever cold it is, and it should start from my belly and it should reach the whole body. Then you slowly shift it to hot water or warm water, whatever you want. Then when you know, do exercise, minimum 30-40 minutes walk. Beyond that, I cannot do. So it doesn't require any major things. Normal activity. Do not sit anywhere. Keep walking or do, whatever minimum physical activity. Keep doing that. So I have told you physical activities. I have told you what I eat. I have told you what I drink. I have told you what I touch. But that part I'm finishing at the end. Now what I drink in the morning, first juice, very simple. It has group of leaves, one. It has some minimum healthy powders, and half fruit, and ginger, and one amla. These all together it becomes a juice. What all those green leaves? Palak, a bunch, and pudina, small portion, 8 to 10 leaves. Vandelaga, you call that brahmi. Then you have dhania, coriander, a bunch. Naturally, when there is coriander, you have what is the next friend of coriander? Curry leaves. So that's again 10 to 12, and tulsi 5 to 6. And if you get guava leaf, 1 leaf, papaya leaf, 2 leaves, then you have one more leaf. Pudina I have covered, right? Moringa, if in case you add that, fine, done. Leaves are ready. Clean it, keep it ready. Quarter spoon turmeric, and half ginger, and black pepper. Peepli is better. The pepper which is lengthier, traditional one. If it is not there, black pepper, pink salt, no white salt. Now these all added to that. Half fruit, preferably guava or kiwi or green fruit, added to that. Amla, one is added to that. Half lemon is added to that. This is what is the juice all about. So I have given you revealed you the complete $1 million solution for all the health related problems. When you have these 18 days, whoever has any health issues, you can keep the data ready. Have this without fail. 18 days you have this. In 18 days the result you will know the changes. Then in 3 months there will be major difference. In 6 months our doctors will be very happy. They struggle hard to bring us normal, and they will be very happy, and they will majority of the cases they have stopped the medicine. Varieties of medicines. I have one case study. 12 surgeons could not attend. A friend wanted to take the kid to Singapore or US, thinking that there is a cyst in the brain, and in 2 weeks that was addressed and sorted out. And there are many around me who don't know that I have undergone this, but I have implemented. The results are amazing. So here I am not a doctor, I am not advocating anything, I am just giving you the food. There is no single medicine anywhere, you are just having the food. Then the result, problem is there, result you can see yourself. You can reduce the burden of the doctors, they will be very happy, they can minimize that. So this is the result I have given. Then what we smell, what we touch, it is another big story, but I have made it as a wonder liquid, which is in the getting patented. Took 3-4 years to get that, and it got the approval from National Biodiversity Academy, and which is getting patented. And eventually this wonder liquid with 28 herbs or nutraceuticals, which gives me I am living in jungle now, means the kind of I just take little this one which is I'm making it public, and just in touch wherever it is possible, so that it's there on my body. That gives the whatever natural things which I am missing in the forest is getting connected to all my tissues through skin. So this ends the entire package of the healthcare. So that made me to experiment and arrive at the situation wherein I could avoid meeting the doctors. Tomorrow I may meet, but I have made a wonderful progress, recovered all the parameters. Livers are fantastic. Every parameter has almost come to normal. And energy level, beyond this, it is not only the parameters. You need extra energy, right? So how do you get that? No food, you can't define that. You can see the changes in this after 3 months, 6 months. And my fear of the healthcare related, because I'm connected to hospitals, I know. I have handled, I'm a COVID warrior, me and Vinay and my whole team. We used to handle, even now we handle 20,000 patients, connected to 20,000 patients through all our hospitals. During COVID, there was a big threat again. It's added fear. But none of my teammates, it's a coincidence, God bless, that none of my teammates, maybe 250, 300 families, not even a single person got COVID positive, connected to so many patients every day. So we have, during that stage, the immunity will be very low, but you are, according to our experience, you are likely to get any kind of infection, and all these so-called viral infections or all those things, it is a rare phenomena for me, and life is going. It is just a new beginning and new start, long way to go. I want everyone to understand this. It can be applied to all your families, because a lot of people we have been losing. I have been losing. Every time when I lose, I have solution, but if I told at that time, they may not accept it. It's difficult to do that. But you take it as a correction, prevention, and cure as a solution now. In modern science, we can only address the cure or work on prevention, but correction. So let's not get into phenotypic plasticity or genotypic corrections. Let's not get into that. For me, it works on both. It gives you genetic level correction against generations, but the solution, whatever who wanted to see the problem and then find a solution, that is possible, that is visible. You don't have to depend on anyone, and it is not any medicine here. Anybody can follow. Everyone knows that it's healthy thing, but there should not be any dilution in the way I have told way it should be followed. You cannot say I had today, tomorrow I'm going to skip. No, first 18 days, or once you start, 18 days stretch should be continuous, and it should be 3-4 days. It can be experimental. After that, it should be continuous 18 days. Every cell in the body gets the best, connects to our past, gets into the jungle, cleans up everything, and the energy level will be better. So these all are the experiences of a student of my teachers here. And thanks to all of you, I'm sure your time is not wasted. I'm sure you don't regret for this delaying 30-40 minutes. Okay. No, milk and milk products. That is the reason I have worked on the. Yeah, this is a practical problem. I have converted them as products now for myself. That those all things I have converted as product for myself. Yeah, in the powder form. And I want to move on from here.
Thank you very much, Prakash, for a wonderful experiment that you have done. You have given solution to everybody here. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Now we have two scientists from ISRO. Two scientists from ISRO. They won't be talking about rocket science. They have come here to enthrall us with singing. They are really good singers. They were suggested by my friend Srikanth, who is a scientist at ISRO. I request both of them to enthrall us. Let us have a beautiful evening.
Check. Hello. Check. So, hi guys. We both are working in ISRO in Bangalore. So myself, Ashraf. Check. 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 So we both are coming from ISRO, and myself, my name is Ashraf, basically from Kochi, Kerala, and he's my friend Chandan. He's from Karnataka. So for 1 hour we will be here with you with some melody songs, Hindi. I used to do some cover songs in Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, like that. And he's doing a little Kannada rap productions. So he'll be singing little rap songs for you. That's it.
ಚೆಕ್ ಚೆಕ್. ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ? ಸೂಪರ್.
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತದೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ?
ಬಿಡಿ. ಮಗುವ ಮನಸ್ಸ ಒಳಿತ ಬಯಸ ನಗುವಿನ ಒಡೆಯ, ನೀವು ನೊಂದೋರ ಕೈಯ ಹಿಡಿಯೋ ನಡೆಯೋ ಗೆಳೆಯ, ಅಭಿಮಾನಿಗೆ ಅಭಿಮಾನದ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ದಾರೆಯ, ಜೋರು ಹರಿಸಿದ ಶುಭ ಹರಸಿದ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ, ಬಾಲ್ಯದಲ್ಲೇ ಬಣ್ಣ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ರಂಗಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಇಟ್ಟು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಹೃದಯ ಗೆದ್ದ ಕರುನಾಡ ಕೀರ್ತಿ, ಚಂದನವನ ಮೆಚ್ಚುವಂತೆ ನಟನೆ ಅಚ್ಚಳಿಯದಂತೆ ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಮಾತಾದ ಪ್ರತಿಭೆಗೆ ನೀವು ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ, ಆಕರ್ಷಕ ನೃತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಹಸದ ಧೈರ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ತಮ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ನಿಪುಣ ಪ್ರವೀಣ ಪರಿಣಿತ, ಸದ್ಗುಣಗಳ ಸಂಪನ್ನ ಸರಳತೆಯ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಟ, ಜೀವನದ ತಾತ್ಪರ್ಯ ಹೇಳಿಕೊಟ್ಟ ಪಂಡಿತ, ನಾಡಘನತೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸುತ್ತ ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆ ಪೂಜಿಸುತ್ತ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಬಾವುಟವ ಹಾರಿಸಿದ ಧೀಮಂತ, ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದನ್ನ ಮರೆಯುತ್ತಾ ತ್ಯಾಗ ಕರುಣೆ ಬೆಳೆಸುವ ಸೌಜನ್ಯದ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ, ದರಗಿಳಿದ ಭಾಗ್ಯವಂತ, ಪವರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಪವರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಪವರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಪವರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಪವರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ 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 ಪವರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಪವರ್